fresh air. We can go outside and just, enjoy ourselves. So, really, this is a good time to reset, right, Carrie Ann?
It is the best time ever because we have warm weather. We have lots of fruits that we have access to in more abundance that are sweet and juicy than we did in the winter times. And then we also have our fresh green leafy vegetables as well. So it's the best of both worlds. So we can not only enjoy the foods, so instead of wintertime when we don't have sun, can go outside and get some sunlight. It's amazing for our skin. It's amazing for the body. We're going to get natural vitamin D. It's like electricity because we are literally we run off of electricity, right? Because when you have you ever saw on the heart when your heart stop, they shock you, and it's a current, right? So they get
Right.
the heartbeat going again. So we are literally running off electricity. So the sun is that for us. It literally, and it's that for the plants and living things, right? So it energizes us and helps us to get through the day and literally us, and you feel good when you're in the sun. I feel so amazing. Like when I feel so much more grounded. And then, just take your shoes off, kick your shoes off a little bit, step in the dirt a little bit, and get some of that energy that is also coming down in the earth. And you can see how amazing you will feel. It helps to help go over that anxiety, depression and sadness. Sunlight is amazing for all that stuff because it energizes us. So step outside a little bit. It's the summertime.
Exactly. One thing Carrie is big about is, basically raw, being raw. And this is a good time to do that because you can go to the fresh markets. They're open during the summer months, and you go out and get all that fresh fruit. I know my mom went a couple of weeks ago, and the corn and the green beans and the squash was so yellow and pretty. Oh my gosh, it's just so delicious. If you can get it from the farm to the table, it's amazing. It really does make a difference.
It makes a huge difference in the taste. I'm gonna tell you that because when I was on vacation, listen, let me just share something with you guys. When I went to our retreat was in St. Lucia, it was put on by Fuller Rock Christina. It was literally an amazing 7 days. There's nothing like it. I can't wait for the next one, really. So what happened is that we ate raw the entire time. So it felt so good to be served. Have you ever just want to be served? Because as moms and as women, as we're always the servers. So it was
Right.
amazing just to be served for every single meal and then be catered to in the sense that we're getting not just food on the table, but it's good for our bodies. It's going from the cellular level. So you're getting a revamp from the cellular level in your body because it's everything raw. It's fresh, it's organic, and it's grown naturally there in St. Lucia. I actually had the opportunity to go to one of their farms. So their organic farm, and it was like, oh my gosh, it was so much fun being able to pick fresh vegetables and fruits off the out of the garden, and we got to do that. So we got to experience creating a dish because we were in teams. They had us create a little dish, so it was fun. So we could feed each other, and it was amazing what you can do when you just combine things. You just look and you just taste this herb, and you're like, that will taste good with this, and everything was raw. They were delicious at the end of the day. And it doesn't have to be all these little tiny fruits. They were naturally the right size. Those cucumbers were amazing. I have to show you guys some pictures. But it reminded me of when I was growing up as a kid. And I grew up in Jamaica, as a lot of you know. And it's like, I had that experience as growing up as a kid. My grandfather was out. He farmed. They grew a lot of what we ate. So, at that time, as little kids, you're like, well, can we have these little sticks down the road? The answer was, dinner is on the table. So it comes back to like going literally back to the basics of how can we grow and not grow just one thing because that's what will mess up the soil. We have to get our soil back. We've got to literally feed the soil with will have it replenish itself so that we can bear good fruit, right? And how can we do that? It starts with just one farm at a time. So hopefully, We support our farmers because they're literally trying, especially our organic farmers. And there's this thing called regenerative farming where they're going to plant other things in there to get the soil back on track. They have soils from different parts of the world, so they're getting the best quality soil and they're mixing it up together so they can get the most vibrant, delicious, yummy fruits and veggies for us to eat. So, this inspired me a lot to learn more about farming because even though I grew up with it as a kid, did I really look into that to say what's my part? How can I learn and start doing that? So that's like going to be one of my next things. How can I learn more so that I can share with you guys? A lot of people have,
Right.
you can plant in pots in your garden. I mean, on your balcony. So you don't have to have a huge yard. There's things grows in pots. And you get your fruits. You can get your tomatoes and peppers, natural things that can grow your spices like your thyme and your
Rosemary.
rosemary and all those good stuff that you use, your chives. Those are things you can grow yourself instead of going to the store. And when we get them, they're all dried up and they're not the best.
And that now, when you were talking about that, I was thinking too about, I love when I see other organizations starting a community garden, in their areas. They are so resourceful. And believe it or not, for my birthday, my mom was going to get me a herbal garden. She just didn't know really what to get or anything like that. But I was like, oh yeah, that's cool, because I do like the mint and like I said, different things like rosemary, like in the water, and infuse it with some fruit and stuff like that. Oh my gosh, it just you don't. Sometimes you hear stuff and you're like, what's that gonna taste like? What's that? Water? I mean, fruit sitting in water all day or whatever. But it's so good and it's so refreshing.
Absolutely. Infused water is so good. And then you're getting a lot of the nutrition from that already in your water. So it's like, how can you do that? But how can you amplify that and make that just like the best thing ever? And teach your kids so that they grow to love water. Most people don't like water, like, oh, it's just like, it doesn't taste good.
It's
No,
bland. They don't have no taste.
it's good. Listen, I have to share this because like my dog, right? He used to love water because I would give him water all the time and he would drink his water. Well, over time he thought to realize, well, if you're cooking food, my water shouldn't be that plain. And he stopped drinking water. So I had to figure out how can I do that. So I had to use a little bit of what I cooked and make sure that the runoff, I don't throw it away. I use that to pour in the water so he drinks it. So now he drinks his water because he's thinking, I'm still getting all this good stuff, right? So how can we have our children get that same kind of experience? Well, we can add fruits in it. Cucumbers are
Yeah.
amazing. Amazing. Cut up a little bit of ginger at the bottom so we can get a little spice because that's all things for your gut and all that stuff. So it can help you. If you have any kind of nausea or anything like that, ginger is going to be great. I love ginger. Or you can put in there whatever. You can even put some peppermint. Peppermint is amazing, right? It's energizing as well. And you can also even drop some oils in them if you have the essential oils that are made for internal use, not just all oils. So if you have oils that are available, you can also drop them in there. And it gives it like a really good bang. One of the things I like to make is just get a liter of water. I slice up some lemons. I slice up some cucumbers, and then I drop the fresh peppermint leaves. And then guess what I do? I drop in some
Yes.
oil and a little bit of lemon oil. And I was like, oh, that is so refreshing. You can sip on that throughout the day. And it's summertime. It's nice and cool. You can put it in the fridge. I don't like my water cold because I like to have it room temperature, but I will put it to infuse in the refrigerator overnight. Then I take it out and I sit on the counter so that it gets more to room temperature. Then I drink it. So you just figure out how you like it. If you like cold water, great. I just don't. So I'm
Yeah,
just,
me either.
I adapt to how I just make things suit how I like it. And then you can do
Exactly.
the same things. And when I give ideas, then you can figure out how do you like it best. And then you make it that way for yourself as well.
Awesome. I'm telling you, you've just got to try it. I mean, a lot of times we hear stuff and, we're just like, I'm not doing that. Or, that sounds like so much trouble. But I mean, even like when I go to the grocery store now, it's so amazing that my shopping trip are so much shorter in time because everything's right in that little area. From the cucumbers to the avocados to the apples, and I go right around the corner. There's the dressing or the olives, the jalapenos, and the only thing I have to go across the store to get is the distilled water. But everything else is so it's. I just think it's so funny because usually you spend so much time you're going up and down the aisles, you can't remember where things are. They change stuff around, but it's just so. I just go make that little corner, that round, go around that corner, go get that water, and I'm out of there. I mean, so it's just amazing. So it's not as time consuming as you think. It's not as boring as you think or as bland as you think. Trust me now, y'all know I like to eat. I like taste. I like things to taste good. This journey has been really amazing. So I'm just saying, let's do it. Just try it. Try one thing. Reset. Get it in your mind.
Hmm.
Right. The
It's,
one thing. Go ahead, Carrie Ann.
it's just one thing that you need to do. You don't need to make it complicated, get yourself all overwhelmed. What's one thing that you can get a big bang for? And you say, if I do that one great thing in the morning, or whenever if you choose to have it in the afternoon, you bring it for your snack, whatever you choose to, then you're thinking yourselves, if I am starting to nourish myself this one way, and I start to feel a little better, you're gonna eventually start seeing, okay, people always say, I have these breakouts because of this and all that stuff. How can you prevent it? Because everything that you see on the outside is a reflection of what's going on the inside. So how can we start with just one thing? And I'm a big proponent of just getting started. This is summertime, so one of the things that I let me just share this again. I like to share, right? Even for me, I've been on this journey now for quite a few years, and even me, I needed a reset. I knew I needed a reset, and when I decided just to go to St.
Yeah.
Lucia, met up with amazing, like 42 amazing people in one area, you realize that over the past year, a lot of things affected us, and we didn't really realize that we didn't have the connection of human touch as much as we used to, because that's part of us being healthy as well. We need connection, we need community, and we had to do it a little differently. But it was so amazing just being able to hug somebody, just being able to go in and it says, "How are you?" and see somebody else smiles, just light up the room right in front of you. So it's important now that we have that opportunity to be able to say, how can we do this? Go out and hug our grandmothers that we haven't seen in a year, or those grandbabies that you didn't see, or your kids that you just want to be able to start that connection again, because it's so vital. It's vital for health. It's part of what makes the world go round. Okay,
Mm.
so and you will see that even when I look at my trees outside and the things that I had, like I have a lemon tree. It didn't bear fruit this year. I posted last year I had all these lemons on my tree with the orange
Right.
in the back. And then the year before it was like, oh my God, that was my first season. Nothing. They bloomed and everything just it didn't bear. And I was like, what's going on? It's not just that when you look at what was going on, a lot of trees did our fruits didn't bear as much this year.
Right.
But one of the things we have to understand, there's a connection with us and life outside. So were they really getting the attention that they usually get from us when we were out there? These are just questions I'm asking. Right. And I thought about that and I was like, I didn't really give my tree a lot of love and attention with the pandemic. I didn't. I was trying to focus on seeing
Yeah.
how can I help somebody else to be okay, or as a nurse, and I went and I did travel nursing for a little bit. I had to be out there, so it's like it was very different. So I was like, well, is it us? The whole environment is just very different at this time. So how are we going to get that back and nurture it? So I'm starting to nurture back my tree because I want it to bear again. And then even planting, I can make sure I planted some plants. I'm a proponent of life giving life, and I took a little bit. I took the liberty of taking some plants back with me from St. Lucia. Shh.
I didn't hear anything.
So one of them, I know, one of them is called Leaf of Life. That's what I grew up with that in Jamaica. It's an amazing herb. You can. It's a plant, but it's making a nice tea. But when you're sick, it's good for colds. It's good for everything. I grew up on that. When there was a problem, it's like we're just gonna make you some leaf of life tea, and your grandmother just fed you that, and it's like wow. So
Yeah.
that whole experience of just being back out, connecting, being able to go to the beach, not worry about anything. I went into, the volcano. I actually walked barefoot a lot of times when I was there. So I literally tried to soak up the energy any way I can. I came back with a beautiful tan on, and listen, I was so proud of my tan. So it's like, wow, how can we do that so we have that energizing feeling continuously here? How can we create that so we don't have to wait for a reset that you can have maybe a year from now or 2 years from now? How can we reset ourselves, our home, so we can get on a path that we continue to grow? Of course, we're going to have setbacks, right? Because nothing is perfect. Well, how
Right.
do we not get to the point where we were, where we were like, oh my gosh, we just completely drained and just need a complete pick me upper. You know, a lot of us are there right now. Is that how you're feeling? I mean, a lot of us are there. So what can we do today to start that change? And I always
Today.
say one huge bang for your buck. And I say one juice a day. One juice a day. Because when you start getting the nourishing nutrients your body needs, your life change. You're gonna be happier. You're gonna feel like the anxiety you're having is just not as bad. You're going to be able to say, confidence starts to grow a little bit because you're going to say, oh my God, I feel a little bit energized. I can do this with my kids. I can play with my kids. Before, you're like, oh my gosh, I have so much pain, inflammation, and you're not able to do these things. And you're not even realizing because it then becomes the norm, right? Because
Right.
after a couple of months of you feeling this, it becomes normal. So then when something else happens, then you're like, oh, you forgot that you didn't feel good back here, but you focus on the new thing because that has now become a normal. And that's how we spiral down and we spiral down and we spiral down. But how can we just stop right now and just pivot and say, let's start doing one thing so we can make our health better? And I always say, start with one juice a day, one green juice a day to be specific, because you really want to be able to get the leafy green vegetables in. And then if you add like maybe a green apple, if you want to add a fruit, that's great. But I want you to focus on when you're juicing, majority of it green, if not all. Because once you're just starting, you're gonna be like, I need a little sweetness to it. So that's fine. Have a pineapple with your juice, but don't make it just like a straight up orange juice or a straight up pineapple juice to get started on this journey, because you're still getting a lot of sugar and you want energy that sustains so that you can continue to feel good. So when you do all just fruit, it's going to still store in your cells at the very end of the day as fat cells, right? And you don't want to do that because you want to be able to have it go throughout your body and feed those cells and burn it off. And if you're going to have your sweeter fruits, do them during the daytime while you're moving and making sure that exercise is key. There's not no one is eating to exercise. I always say one A, one B. You need to do them together because it's key, because you've got to burn the excess stuff. And once you start doing one green juice a day, you're gonna have energy because you might say, I really don't have the energy to exercise. Listen, I was on vacation to exercise every day. Every morning we worked out. Who doesn't on
Wow.
vacation, right? It was a workout. We either had a yoga or we're gonna do a hit training, and we had it with different views, but it was amazing because we did it on the beach. And I'm thinking, how can I recreate that at home? I don't have a beach where I live. In my home, right? So
Right.
listen, working out, and guess what I do? I recorded amazing sounds. Like I would just sit there when the rain is falling and recorded the rain falling. So I
Oh,
have
yeah.
that in the background. Guess what Karen do? She just listens to it. And I was like, it takes me back to a time where I just had so much fun. I felt just like I didn't have anything to worry about. And trust me, I didn't even use a phone. Well, I used the phone for things, but I didn't make phone calls. My family was not happy because they tried to call me and Karen did not answer.
Right.
I said, if it's emergency, they would say emergency. If I don't see that, I didn't see the text message, I didn't see any of that stuff because I wanted to be present in the moment.
Present.
About learning to be present. And I was there for a whole 7 days. Then I came back and I had to readjust.
Oh
And
gosh.
I still think I'm on vacation. So gotta readjust a little bit. So it's important to do a reset. And what I'm saying is that if this is the best time to do it. You're gonna find that you have more energy. You're gonna have more energy to play with your children, grandchildren, friends, just being able to go out. You're gonna decrease inflammation in the body, just being able just normal aches and pain. Once you start adding a green juice a day, you'll find that they start to come down. And then you're gonna feel that your body wants more green juice and you add a second one. And then it's like, wow. So that's how you build momentum. We're gonna start today. Because at the beginning of the year, we all had these plans. It's like, I'm gonna do this because I want to eat healthier, I want to do this. And guess what? Where we at? Probably not very far because we start off and then get back into the rut of things and it just, falls off the radar. But we're gonna pick that back up. And we can start right now where you are, and we can just kill the 6 months that's left in this year of how we can just keep ourselves accountable to ourselves because it's at the end of the day you're not accountable to me, the coach. You're accountable to yourself. So when you make these goals and you're saying, oh my gosh, I have these challenges, reach out, this is time you reach out, right? Get some people in your corner and we'll be able to like get you off that ledge. But if you don't reach out and then you sit back and then you say, "Oh, well, that looks so good over there. Let me just have one little bite." And one little
Mm-hmm.
bite, and then two little bite turns to a whole muffin, and then a whole muffin turns into, "I just want this fried chicken, blah blah blah, whatever it is." Right? So we know we all have different weaknesses. Mine was ice cream, so
Right.
I prefer the ice cream, right? So I made these amazing, delicious smoothies now. So I don't have to worry about that. And they're so good. They're better than the ice cream. And it's all things natural. No added sugar. It's just literally fruits, protein, because I had some green stuff to it if you want. Make it however you like it. Have it your way. Make it your
So,
way.
so I do want you a couple of things I wanted to talk about, but I do want you to be thinking about like, just in case somebody's like, okay, what's a green smoothie like? I mean, or what's the green juice? What do I put in it? Just kind of give them like a simple recipe for a green juice that's not too complicated, something they can try, and maybe something like if they don't like celery, something different. But just the things you were talking about, I know you're right. Once you start drinking them, you'll be like, "Ooh, that was so good." Like when I drink them now, I'll be like, "Is it gone already?" I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I need another one." But too, you were talking about as you start drinking them and things like that, they really start flushing out your body, and so that intestine and your bowel movements and things like that. I mean, let's just be real, because you said it many times, that gut health is what makes you feel so sluggish and so tired and things like that. So as you're juicing, you'll see your movements, getting better, and you don't have to sit in the bathroom and strain. You don't have to, you know what I'm saying, because that's no fun. But you'll just see that it's just happening, and of course because it's getting those toxins and the dead stuff that we've been eating and just sitting in our intestines, is cleaning that out. And you will, and even your face and things like that will start glowing and things like that. You truly will see the difference in so many areas. But what is a green juice that they can try and just, be like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna try it.
Okay. But first, let me just say, what's the benefits of a juice versus a smoothie? Let's start with the very basics, right? We talked about, both of them are very beneficial to the body. But one, there are just a subtle differences. So with a juice, there's no fiber. So you're giving your gut some rest. So your body has the opportunity to eat when you're drinking it and then do that repair process. Complete solid rest and vacation. So there's no work. right? So if your gut is not, stomach isn't working to digest food, guess what happens? You have energy to do other things because to do that process of digestion, it takes a lot of energy. So if you're doing the juice, it's literally absorbed into your body, get into your cells in your system without that work that your gut would have to do. So when
Hmm.
you see that you start juicing, you have more energy, boom, because you have more energy to do other things. It's not working on digesting, and it's not working on digesting a hamburger or a pizza or things that are heavy on your gut. So it's literally give you more, and then you're gonna start feeling lighter. So that's one of the huge difference. Then you're gonna have it's like drinking. Someone I heard someone say it's like drinking your vitamins versus taking your whole foods. That's a little softer. That's blended up. Because when you're drinking it, it's pulling the fiber out, so you're getting straight nutrients. It's very concentrated. So and when you drink that, that's what you're feeling. It green juices help to alkalize the body. So you really want it to be more alkaline as opposed to acidic. The foods that you're eating, like your fast foods and processed foods and milk and all these other things, those are acidic in nature. So they're going to make your body more acidic. And when you're more acidic, you're open to more complications or diseases or health issues. When you're more alkaline, it's harder for your body to be susceptible to chronic illnesses. Not saying you can't, but what I'm saying is your body's in a state where it's doing its job and being able to repair because we are designed to heal ourselves. Our bodies are designed that way. It's how we're eating, not just that, but the environment. So it's not just internal that we're eating, it's the external as well. So it's that whole combination. So the juice again, quick energy. Yeah, you're gonna start doing it, no work. And it's more, it to me it's refreshing. When you're doing a smoothie, you're gonna have your whole fruit. You're still getting all your whole foods. It's just blended, so it helps with that mastication process. Your body still has to work to remove the fiber and to get the foods absorbed in the body. It's gonna be absorbed at a slower rate, but it's still faster than if you chew it yourself, right? So it is that process of chewing it, doing it, getting your mastication and making sure you're chewing. That's why we always talk, try to chew your foods properly. I always say, my grandmother always say you have 32 teeth, you chew at least 32 times. I don't know if that's the accurate way, but that's how I grew up. So I've always gone with it. So yeah, so it's about chewing, then your smoothies, and then your juicing. So smoothies are also great for the body. Juicing is great. They just do different things in the sense that that's going to allow quicker healing because you're completely giving your stomach complete rest, right? So, so when we're juicing, oh, behind me, I have a juice. Look at you. See, I have a juicer back here, and if we have time, I'll show you how to just put together a quick juicer because it's really not as simple. I mean, as hard as most people think it is. It's just depending on the juicer that you get. And I try to get one that's going to be efficient. But when you're juicing, um, you want to make it simple to get started. So I always say get celery. So just use a whole stalk, not a stalk, yeah, a bunch, all of it. The celery, and then you can use 1 to 2 cucumbers. Be sure they're all organic. I'm very much a proponent of that. Use the skin of the cucumbers as well. If it's not organic, definitely peel it. Um, but if it's organic, making sure you use the skin. And then you can use um, 1 or 2 green apples, the Granny Smith apples, because they're very tart. I like flavors as well. Then you use a lime or lemon and a thumb-sized piece of ginger. That's a simple recipe that you can juice and enjoy. If you don't like celery, I don't know why, but you can use fennel instead. I love fennel as well. Fennel is also all things digestion. So it's going to be a digestive support as well. And fennel, I don't think I have any in my fridge right here, so I can run to that fridge. But it's like so it's just look for fennel. It's or anise. I think they call it anise in some places, but It has a white bottom, kind of looks similar to celery, but it has a huge white bottom with some little green stalks going off of it. So I use that to replace my celery. And then you can use any kind of I would just use those as beginners because leaves are when you have leaves is you don't get as much juice, but I also love putting that with my juices. But we'll just start simple. So we simply start with those. And if you really feel like you want to kick it up a notch, you can add some cilantro or some parsley because I love adding herbs to the juice. And those are going to help support the liver after a hard night's work of trying to detoxify the body. So when you drink that in the morning, it's going to help to flush. And that's what Ali says. When you start juicing, you will start seeing stuff come up because the beauty of green stuff, it's what's going to help to pull a lot of that stuff out the body. Fruits are amazing because that helps detoxify the body as well. So it's all things combination and doing that in moderation. But your greens, I am a proponent greens and start your day with a green smoothie. And you'll see huge bang for your body because let's think about it on a day-to-day basis. How much greens do you eat?
How much what?
On a day-to-day, if not juicing, most people, how much greens do they have in their diet? Not very many. I've known people, most people don't know what.
Lucky if one serving.
Maybe, right? Because
Right.
you say, oh, it's collard greens. You could juice your collard greens too. But you have your collard greens and they do that. And then when they cook it, it's so cooked, it's completely all the nutrients is gone out of it. And they put other things with it that may not be the best,
Mhm.
right? So it's like, and then it's a lot of salt. And so you're adding all these things that are not, beneficial to the body. So how do you get the best bets? Because once you change the structure of the food, then you're not getting all the enzymes that you could if it's raw. So when it's cooked, it decreases the content of nutrition in it. It just does because you're changing it. So it's how you do things as less processed as possible because that's going to help you when you want that push of energy. And heck, when you start eating that way, you're going to get a reset naturally. Look at me. I can't stop smiling. I
Stop
feel
smiling, stop dancing. She
I
just
can't
be
stop dancing. It's just, it's a night and day of how I live now and I did 5 years ago. Night and day. Night and day. So it takes just starting with one thing. And I started with one thing back then. I started was like, I'm gonna do this thing for 21 days, and I did, and I was like, makes difference, and then I added. But the one thing I go back to all the time is juicing. I have been juicing for 20 something years. I started juicing in 1996, and that's when I got my first champion juicer back in the day. I'll never forget it. So it's something that I know a lot about. I've been doing it a long time. I always stick to the plan, but I knew what I needed to do to get healthy. And I just went back to how I used to live in my 20s or, when I was a kid in Jamaica growing up. So it's important to start with just one thing and don't overwhelm. It's not about being perfect, just doing one thing and doing a juice. I always say do 32 ounces. If you can't do 32 ounces, I will take 16. I would take just the small jars. And
right.
if that's how you start, great. Start there because that's still more nutrition than you probably would have gotten all day anyway from the other stuff that you eat.
Oh my gosh, so true. I mean, like she said, if you can't do 32 yet, or you're not really sure, you're putting the apples and things in there, and you're not getting as much as you want. That's okay. Just keep, you'll get used to, how much you need to get that 32 ounces. But like she said, I just want to encourage somebody just to start, just try, give it a try, and then as you give it a try, you never know what's gonna get what's gonna grab your attention or what's gonna hit your taste buds. And you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, this is so good. Especially like she said, go ahead and add that ginger, add that lemon and lime. That's gonna help with the taste initially. And let me go ahead and tell y'all, when she's saying a stalk of celery, me not really knowing about this, I got my little bunch from the store of celery and I pulled off like that one stalk. That's what I thought she meant. But she means when you get your bunch from the store, put that whole bunch in there.
Oh my, I just cut it
Yeah.
all up and go. And it's important to wash it, right? It's important to
Yes.
wash them because we're not cooking them. We're just gonna wash them. And I always say it's best to use distilled water to wash them. But if you use the faucet water, that's fine. I just want you to start. I just want you to start and get
Yeah,
that.
and we
When you do, just share it and let us know. Let us know how you're doing. If you have questions, join a group. If you have questions, join us.
and that's what I was gonna say too, like we're saying, just start like she said, sometimes you get started on the journey and you get a little off track or what have you. That's been me. I've done that over the past month or so. But I'm so glad, like she said, though, even though I may have added some stuff back, I still haven't gone completely back to where I was. You know, um, I don't really tell a whole lot of stuff, but I'm just gonna go ahead and put it out here. So, probably I think it was at March 2020 I
Mhm.
was at a certain amount of pounds. And so, I didn't really start this journey till probably about, I was kind of on the journey, but I wasn't really doing anything with it. So I think I had lost like 8 pounds, to January. Then January we did like an apple challenge with the Hicks Orchard. And then Carrie Ann picked it up in February, and then she started talking to us about juicing, and I joined her program. And from so that's when it really started. So from that point, take those 8 pounds off. I think I've lost 31 pounds. And so, it's just been amazing. And then, I put clothes on and I'm like, oh my gosh, I went out one day and I was like, what, are my pants falling down? What's going on? It is just like, and like she says, you have energy. You start thinking about, even when you're, going to the grocery store. Okay, now what can I do for the week? What am I going to have? Even the salads. I was like, Lord, I don't want to get tired of salads because I love salads. But just you can add vegetables to your salads. You can add fruit to your salads. You can do different things. So it just wasn't as hard of a journey as I thought it was going to be. But like she said, the important thing is I got in the group. Okay. I started seeing other people posting about their juices, posting with their food and things like that. And I was like, that juice looks so delicious. What is it? And they were like papaya and such, or beets and that. And I'm like, but you gotta, it's just like anything else. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you got to be around people who have an entrepreneur mindset. You have
Yes.
to be around people who want to be in business for themselves and are willing to, take the struggle till they get to the place they want to be. If you're wanting to write a book, you typically look for other authors to give you suggestions. How do you stay motivated? How do you get to the next chapter? How do you transition? So even with this, even though we're asking you just to do one juice a day, it really will help you if you join the group and you're around the people who are juicing and the people who are saying, I tried this, and then they put their ingredients, what they put in there, and they don't care about sharing. They're not trying to, we're all there really to support one another, and we encourage one another. And so get in the group, and I got in the group. Gary Land, how long have I been in this group? I
It's been a
probably was in the
few
group,
years
what,
now.
3 years?
Yeah, it's been a few years. But we have transitioned over time and now we're really walking about just being more mindful of creating a community of supporters, right?
Right.
So when we hop in there, it's not about, oh my God, look at what you're doing. No, it's about how can I support you? And then can I try that? What you put in there? Because
Uh-huh.
I want to create that environment because I can't give you everything, right? But what I can do is give the guidance and say, oh, so then you can experiment because we're all on a journey to find what we enjoy, right?
Right.
Because there's certain things that I see juicing and I'm like, this looks so amazing. Am I gonna try that? And I'm like, no, I'm too fickle to have so much sugar. If I have that much sugar, I'm like, Even though I love my pineapple juices, I know you see my page on my pineapple juices. I love those yellow bright pineapple juices, and I put in there. But I add other things to it, just try to keep the color yellow. So it's like, how do you do it? It's about sharing, 'cause sharing is part of caring. And one of the things we want is be able to learn from each other and then realize that no one person has all the answers, because we all possess what we need to be able to heal our own bodies. I keep telling everyone, we are our own healers. We just have to channel it, right? And then our bodies tell us what we're missing. When you're craving certain things, it's like, oh, which mineral is that? Well, let's try it. Let's start incorporating things that's going to give me an abundance of minerals, an abundance of vitamins, an abundance of phytonutrients, so that our bodies will not be lacking as it used to, right? Because we're literally going to stop running on empty and start running from the overflow. And the overflow is going to come when our blood system is moving and going well, because when you're juicing and cleansing, it's keeping your system going. So it's not going to be as thick. When you look at look at your blood under the microscope, it's either going to go nice and smooth, or it's going to be really moving slow because it's thick. Well, we don't want that thick blood. We want our blood to move nice and flowing. This is why they tell you need to, especially if you have heart issues, they put you on all these different medications to keep your blood flow going. So they say it's a blood thinner or whatever. How about if we're eating naturally and we're eating right and making sure we're getting the right nutrients, we'll naturally flow, right? And we have herbs that you can do naturally too, but don't combine them. No combining. These are things that you do under the guidance of your physician or somebody else that at least knows how to put them together, right? So it's important for us to just prioritize us and know what we want. Most of us don't want to take a lot of medicines. I know that for sure. I've never met a client of mine or have a client come to me and say, I like taking my medicines, so I want to keep taking them, but just do this. Everybody said they want to get off their medicines. And
Oh,
how can we do that? Prioritizing what we're putting here so that when it hits and go down here, it's good. Then also prioritize what we put on our skin, because it's also literally good transdermal
yeah.
um, infusion into the body is just as toxic. And let's think about that, right? When we're resetting, what are we going to change in our routines that we do with our face? Because as women, we spray it with a hairspray. And then we have all these different creams that we put it on our face because it has these fancy words we don't know. And you look at them, you realize they're all not good for you, right? So it's like, how can we simplify that? Because I still want to look cute, right? So I'm still
Mhm.
going to wash my face. I use natural things to wash my face, and then I use coconut oil with some essential oils in it and some, what is it, avocado oil or something like that, and put it on and just moisturize my face. I pick whichever one I'm going through the day, and I still moisturize my face. So I do it with things that I know what they are, and they're not words that when you look them up, you're like, this synthetic chemical, what is it doing for my body? Because once that seeps in our system, that's toxin. And we're saying, huh, I may be I'm not fat or I'm not overweight or I'm not this. And then when you look and you really do a real muscle test, there's not much muscle there, because it's a lot of, you look and you're like, BMI is high. Not just if you go by just the weight, you have to really check to see the fat percentage. Your fat percentage is high. Well, that's still not healthy, right? So it's about how can we do it, because that's where it's going to store all the toxins. Whether you're thin, whether you're the right size, or whether you're overweight, it's still the same thing. So it comes down to how can we make ourselves healthier, and then whatever weight you fall into, then great. I'm a proponent of that. I'm not saying you got to be so this tiny or this. No, I'm saying you get
Right.
healthy. How are we gonna get healthy? Because you can go on the fattest diet. Because I know a lot of diets can make you lose a lot of weight, but underneath that is that, are you healthy? You may look great because you're smaller, but are you healthy? Your skin's still breaking out. Well, why is that? I still have eczema, but why is that? I still have psoriasis breakout, but why is that? Because the healing has not begun. And we have to start with that. And a great way to just get started is with one juice a day. And this is why I love this so much, because that juice causes. It allows a lot of things. So when you wake up and you have your juice and you have that for your first thing in the morning, which is what I really advocate, then you continue to have that fasting process so the body's continue to heal because you're not working the gut. It's going straight into your system.
Y'all, I'm telling you, I mean, I can't say it enough. It's really something you have to experience for yourself. And so that's why we keep saying just try it, because we can tell you all day long, but until you try it, till you start seeing the differences, till you start feeling the differences, you know, we just can't tell you enough. And so just some things she was saying is so true. I mean, how many of us take a pill to get up in the morning, to make sure our blood sugar is regulated. Then we have to take something at night before we go to bed. How many of you seen your parents or maybe your grandparents and they have to carry a pill pack because they have so many pills they have to take every day? And absolutely, if that's what they need right now, do what you need to do, right now. But what we're saying is, if you incorporate some of these changes, if you start getting that fresh air, and I know COVID took some of us down for a minute, being in the house, not being able to get out, like Carrie said, not being able to hug and touch people, or, just sit close to somebody and, pick with them and stuff like that. It makes a difference. So do what you need to do to break out of this shell. And it's not going to be easy and it's not going to be exciting every day. But just like any other decision, we have to be consistent in that. Just we always talk about you go to your job every day, whether you're feeling well or not. You go to your job, whether you like your coworkers or not, things like that. You just have to be consistent in this journey. And at least, and I keep saying, get in this group, get in the group, because I was in the group, I was watching people, I was hearing their stories, I was, looking. I finally got my juicer, and I'm excited. And so, we're not telling you to. It's not a race. It's not something that's quick. I think the slower the journey goes, and the more decisive you are about the journey, the more the journey is for you.
Hmm.
The more the journey affects you, the more the journey inspires you. Because I'm telling you, like she was talking about the fog and the heaviness, and even like she was talking about, you see skinny people, they're like, I still don't have any energy. I lost this weight, but I'm still tired. We're not getting anything done. We're not being creative. We're not able to play with our kids, pick at our parents, fight with our siblings. We're not able to, we don't want to go outside. We'll be like, "Ah, it looks pretty outside, but I just don't feel like getting up and going." And so that's one of my things, like when Carrie Ann's talking about, just stand in the grass barefoot and just, soak up the minerals of the earth, be one. That's my journey with the juice in this month, is just to, get outside and just, go barefoot, walk outside, sit outside in the sun, and just because I'm doing okay with the eating, I'm doing okay with the juicing, but now I know I have to add something else. Now I have to kick my journey up. And so I think that's what's gonna take me to the next level.
Absolutely, because remember, this journey is not just physical. It's physical, it's emotional, it's mental, it's spiritual. It literally takes you on a journey. Because most times, when you really think about underlying causes of issues, it goes back to some kind of emotional trauma that happened way back, and you sometimes didn't, you just put it there because when things happen to us, when you go to school as a kid and someone bullies you as a kid in school and someone calls you a name and you feel so deflated, you hold on to that, right? Because you don't know, sometimes you don't always process it. You hold on and you carry that around. That I was called this as a kid in school. That can hurt. That words are powerful. That's speaking things over you that really cripples you. So therefore, how do you break those things? Once you started eating healthy, you bring more life into you. I always say life gives you life. So as you put life into you, you're going to realize that you have these emotional parts that come up that you're going to have to figure out how to deal with. And that's why journaling is so vital. You journal how you're feeling, how if you're angry, how whatever it is, that person that did that to you may never know, but it is not about them, it's about you. So you're doing it for you, and once you do that, if you want to write a letter and figure out that, burn it afterwards, however you do it, you acknowledge it. And the key is being able to acknowledge, this hurts, this is because of such and such. And then sometimes you may not even figure it out. Maybe it's a journey to figure out what triggered that. But it's worth that journey because that's a part of the healing process. As soon as you get understand that part, you're going to realize, ah, that propels me to another level in my health. You're starting to feel a little better here. It's a journey. I when I started, I found myself, the only time I had to myself was driving the car to work, and sometimes I was like, "Why am I crying? Why am I crying on the way to work?" And I sit here and I'm like, this is why, because I thought I had to carry so much, and people don't understand what you carry because we all take on things that sometimes are not ours to take on, and we do that a lot as children. We do that as family members or whatever it is, friends. You take them on and you realize it's not yours to carry, and you have to figure out a way to let them go. So that's why I always say, whenever you're communicating with people, don't just come and just word vomit everything that your day and come on, because you need to have people that's going to be able to hold the space for you. So if
Yeah.
you know that you can hold a space for someone, for them to do that, great. And there's a time and a place for everything. Because even though I hold space for a lot of things, I can't always hold space at every single time of the day. Because sometimes I need to just hold space for me. And
Right.
that's the same thing that we need to really think about when you are just with your friends and you're taking on so much of family and taking on so much. What is it doing to you? How do you? Is this really your burden to carry? Or is it for you to be there to support someone else, but allow that person to carry their own,
Mm, that's
right?
good.
That's part of that healing process as well. So, how do we release a lot of those things that we picked up from our childhood and we carry them into our teenage years, especially our teenage years, where we go through hormonal changes and every little thing affects us, especially every little word you say got us upset or whatever. We're like, it's our hormones, right? And then you go into your 20s and you start dating, and then you have this burden that you carry from here. Is how do we release those things? Because that is part of being healthy. This is part of having a complete reset, and say, as of today, I am taking care of me first. And how do I do that? And you write down what that looks like for you. What does that look like for you? What do you need to do? Do you need to make sure you get up 5 minutes earlier before everybody else so you have some time to meditate? You have some time to write in your journal. You have some plan your day. Do you plan a day at night? Maybe you plan a day at night and then you say, oh, in the morning, you're just going to review that. But make sure you're doing some deep breathing. Do you know how breathing is important? We have forgotten how to breathe. Breath work is an amazing way to cleanse the
Mm,
mind because
yes.
it's releasing toxins. Amazing way to cleanse the mind. We carry a lot. So how do we get there with a reset? Just start with one thing. We're going to start with our juicing. And then maybe I like to say, let's add just getting up a little bit early into some breath work. Deep breathing. Even if you just breathe in and out. Simple. You know how you go when you know, especially for those who've had kids and they do what's that thing? Not the Bradley. I did the Bradley method. It's not the Brad Lamar's. And they
Oh
teach
yeah.
there's a method to that madness, right? It really does work. It's just you practice different breathing techniques. So you breathe in, then quick breath, out slow, or however you do them, and you really own that and say, I'm going to have a great day today. I got my juice on, and I'm breathing and start off your day, and you will exponentially see differences in your day.
All that is so true. I mean, it is so true. Like today, my morning was a little crazy, and I was like, and I had to stand in the mirror, and I was like, you know what? you didn't really stop this morning just to really wake up. You know, you kind of woke up a little late. You was up late last night doing something. Um, so you didn't really just wake up. You just got up and started moving. So I had to take a moment and just be like, okay, let me start over. Let me reset this day, because this thing about it, you can reset every day. Just because we're telling you to reset right now, so today might not go so great. Reset again tomorrow. Reset before you go to bed tonight. Reset before you go to bed and release it, whatever you didn't get done. Hey, because I'm gonna tell you another thing. Like she was talking about people and things that you take on, situations and experiences you had. I was in church one day and I just really could not worship. I was just like, I was heavy. And the Lord said, even if you did do it, even if you did forget, even if you didn't say it right, even if you just got it wrong, guess what? You still deserve grace.
Yes.
So if I'm giving you grace, then you know what I'm asking you to do? Give yourself grace.
Grace. Yeah.
So that's what I'm asking you. Give yourself some grace. You deserve it. You might have done it. You might have done it intentionally. You might have done it because you were hurting. But give yourself grace. Give yourself
Oh,
time to reset. Like she said, journal, put down, so you'll know, why am I feeling this way? So you'll start seeing the pattern. Oh, I feel this way when promotions come out at work. Oh, I start feeling this way when it's time for the friends to get together for the birthdays, because they never really celebrate my birthday like we celebrate their. You know what I'm saying? Start figuring out what the patterns are so you can work through those things, so you can heal, so you can become better, stronger. So it's really a journey. We're talking about juicing, we're talking about plant plus living, but we're talking about this journey for your life. We're talking about your total healing. We're talking about your total awareness of who you are and how God created you. We're not telling you, I don't do all the things that Carrie Ann does. I started when I was doing the slideshow with all her pictures. I started to do her picture with her seaweed on her face. I'm not really interested in doing that yet. But I know it worked for Carrie Ann. So I'm not trying to be exactly like her. I'm just getting the guidance.
mm-hmm.
I'm tapping into her knowledge of what all she knows. And then I have to pick and choose what I can apply to my life right now today. I can't do it all like you. I do a 5-day raw journey. But if after a while I want something cooked, something hot, you know?
And that is
And
and that
she's
is
cool with that.
okay because
Yeah.
you're creating the lifestyle that you are able to continue and be consistent with, right? Because when we create these things, no two people loses weight the same way. No two people get healthy the same way. No two people create a lifestyle the same exact way. We can all be in the same group. We can all be doing the journey. But once you get the guidance, you're gonna pick what fits my schedule right now, what fits my situation. Do I have kids? If I have kids, I'm gonna have to do things a little different than if you don't have kids.
Right.
Depending on the age of the kids, my kids are too little to have them help me juice. My teenagers can help me juice and they can enjoy it. And even the 6 year olds can too, but it's gonna be a little different how you do that. So you're gonna create what works for you. But the whole idea is to start getting back into the kitchen, to start where you are, take one first step, which is uh, something that's going to amplify your health. It's just a juice a day. And then when you start and you get that going, teach one of your friends, tell a friend about it, have them join as well. Because the thing is, we want to create a healthier community. If we have healthier community, do you think they're
Right.
going to put the prices of all these medications so high when we start not needing it? Think about that.
Come on.
If we don't need all the medications, are the doctors' visit prices going to be that high? If we don't need all that, if the health insurance, if our healths are better, do you think our health insurance prices are going to always be that high? Or are they going to tell you don't get this? Well, this was covered, but because of this word on here, that don't get covered. Well, we don't need it. If we're eating a certain way, if we're taking priority of our health, and it's all about each one teaching one. So we have to really think it's not just about me, it's about we. How can we do this? How can we get to a point where in numbers, right? If we have everybody starting to do different things, you think they always have those processed food over there waiting for you? They're not gonna say have it your way.
Come on.
Because it's like it's gonna be, oh, well, if my way, it's gonna be, I need a fresh green juice, not one with sugar. Sugar is one thing that stores also in fat cells, right? So not sugar. So it's like doing what we can to make change right now. And we can start in our homes, and then we can start in our communities, and then that movement grows. But we have to get started. And I can't wait for you guys to start that one juice a day. Just one juice a
Just
day.
one.
And that will change the trajectory of your health. No joke. It will change the trajectory of your health and the health of your family. Because your family wants you around. We want you
Truly,
around. We want you
truly.
longer, healthier, not longer in a bed or longer making trips to the doctor. I want you to live with longevity and vitality.
Yes, yes, amen.
Mhm.
Carrie Ann, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to do our CTA. And then when we come back, make sure you tell people how they can join the group and if they want to join the challenge, where they can go and join the challenge. Okay.
Perfect.
We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Thank you for being such a wonderful listening audience, whether you were listening live or on the replay. And don't forget to like our Facebook page, Making Connections with Aly and Shay, so that you can get notified every time we go live. Do you have a burning message to share with the audience? Contact Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com with your topic idea and your message to be booked on the show. And if you're an inspirational speaker or a motivator or simply seeking a platform to share your message, contact Miss Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com to be considered for 30 to 60 minutes of weekly airtime right here on the Making Connections Network. Again, contact Alicia Johnson at info@aliciajohnson.com. That's info@ALYSSIAJOHNSON.com to be considered for 30 to 60 minutes of weekly airtime, your own radio show right here on the Making Connections Network.
Hey, hey, everybody. You've heard it. We are here for you. This is not just a show, but we have a network, we have room, we have space. We're holding space for somebody who needs a platform. We're holding space for somebody who has a gift that they need to share, but they just didn't know how to reach out. They didn't know how to get started. Let us know. We're here for you. And again, I'm just saying, get connected. Get connected because your connections are so important. Get in the group. Carrie Ann is going to tell you how to get in there. Just get in, watch what's going on, listen. Because I'm so moved because we're not just talking about food, but this conversation went the way the Lord wanted it to go. It's about your total healing. It's about healing from the inside out. It's about moving forward because it's your season to reset. It's your time. Don't let any of this stuff hold you back. Release it. Give yourself grace and let's move forward, right? So, Carrie Ann, as always, I love to see you. I'm so thankful. You had an awesome time. Let me tell y'all, go in so you can see some of the pictures. Carrie Ann had the nerve to put up pictures where the birds had come in her room and were eating her fruit. I was like, what? Wait.
That's right. It's so
So
it's
it
cute.
was so cool. And I was like, yes, next time y'all go, I'm going to. So, Carrie Ann, your last words and tell everybody how to join the groups.
Well, I really am super excited to have shared this message with you guys today. It was literally on my mind to do. And I hope that you all decide to just do one thing for yourself because you are worth that, right? You are able to make the changes you need to get the health that you deserve, desire, and need. So take that one step, join the One Juice a Day challenge. You can join at bit.ly /one juice per day challenge. bit.ly /one juice per day challenge to join the challenge. And then you could join us in Plant Plus Living with Carrie Ann, our Facebook group. It's our VIP private Facebook group where we are sharing and everyone is, learning about juicing, eating healthy, and just living the life that they deserve, living the life that's going to lead them to have their best life ever. And that is literally my dream. My mission is literally to see women take control of their health. If it's just doing, start with just one thing, take control of their health so they can look, feel, and live well naturally. So I look forward to seeing you. My website is justgreenliving.com. You can follow me on all social media on Instagram at Just Green Living. I am on, listen, I just joined TikTok. So you can join me there. It's at Plant Plus. It's Plant Plus Living is on TikTok, but on and join our Facebook group. Um,
Subscribe to her YouTube channel.
and my YouTube channel. Listen, I need some help. I need some I need some subscribers because there's no one there yet. Because I'm literally just gonna get ready and push that up. But yes, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm gonna start posting lots of amazing things on there, so that hopefully that will help you on your journey as well. So yes, and then join the group, join the challenge. Just one juice a day. bit.ly /one juice per day challenge, and then you join the Facebook group at Plant Plus Living with Carrie Ann, and it's literally Facebook /groups /just green living.
That's it. Well, again, thank you so much, Carrie Ann. I love you. I love you. I appreciate your support along this journey, and I'm excited. And I know that there's more to come, and I'm excited about it. And that has not always been the case. And I'm very sincere, so I appreciate it. And so, you guys know, like I said, we are making connections with Aly. We're here every Monday at 2 p.m. and every Saturday at 12 noon. Follow us on Facebook. Make sure you turn on the notifications so you'll know when our shows go live. And so, until next time, as always, thank you, Carrie Ann. We
Right.
always want to thank our engineer, Alan. He's always doing great stuff in the background. And so, until next time, as always, we're leaving you with love, positivity, and good vibes. One juice a day.
One juice a day, just
My
one.
heart.
Just one.